Making headlines tonight, testing has started on the new automated Transport Board cashless payment system. Concerns allayed as Christchurch residents pose questions to MPs about development in the Dover area. 2 remanded for murder. And coming up in sports, a last ball thriller as Zimbabwe upset Pakistan at the ICC T20 World Cup.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
I'm Shane Jones, leading the news at 7. People who use the Transport Board service are in for a new experience soon, as authorities move a step closer to introduce a new cashless payment system. Public testing of the technology has begun with a team of officials, including Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Transport, Works and Water Resources, Santia Bradshaw, getting a first-hand look at the new system. The group boarded an electric bus fully outfitted with a card reader, and they were able to tap the payment cards for entry. As part of the test, the touring party stopped along the way and picked up random commuters who were given the opportunity to also test the new cashless system. Chief Operating Officer of the Transport Board, Linda Holder, has been explaining how the cashless system is expected to work.
If you have traveled recently and you've seen the Metro cards in use, think of a similar thing where you get on board and you tap this card and then you're able to travel. Will the old age pensioners still be able to travel free as they did before? Yes, because we're linking the cards with the ID card. Will the school children still be able to travel as they were traveling before? Yes, because there is going to be a section that speaks strictly to student travel. But these are all the things that we are testing, and we started that testing not today because we were putting on the technical aspects of it before, but we started the testing with the public today. And we took a trip out and allowed persons to board and gave them cards, and so far all of the feedback has been positive, and we will take the questions that we got from those persons and work them into all of the promotional work we're doing.
Deputy Prime Minister Santia Bradshaw says feedback is an essential part of the process as they move to modernize the public transport system.
Apart from the fact that this system is going to provide commuters with an opportunity to now not have to walk with cash, that they're going to be operating under a cashless system. One of the transformational things I think that is about to happen here for the Transport Board is that we're now going to have the opportunity to be able to track where our buses are going, to be able to see which routes persons are on, what time the buses are likely to arrive at the bus stops, how long they're going to take to get to their destination, and it lends itself to the Transport Board being able now to address a lot of the issues that have been raised by the general public as it relates to the lateness of a bus, or being uncertain as to how to plan their schedule because they're not sure if the bus is going to come at that particular bus stop.
Meanwhile, commuters have been giving an early assessment of the technology.
I was able to use the swipe, the card, the new system, which is fantastic. Easier, don't have to look for change, just make sure I have money on the card.
I've seen it before overseas, so yes, I guess it will be a step into going further into transportation and technology.
Get the card, buy the card, keep it top up, and you can jump to the bus anytime.
Government has dismissed rumors circulating pertaining to the Dover Christchurch area. Residents' concerns were raised and drew reaction from Prime Minister Mia Amor-Mottley and her team during last evening's Christchurch Speaks at the Foundation School. Kishmar St-Just reports.
Several matters of concern were raised by resident Richard Terrelong. He says they are hearing about developments involving the St. Lawrence Anglican Church, a high-rise car park, and a marina project, among others. Prime Minister Mia Amor-Mottley gave this assurance regarding the church.
To the best of my knowledge, there is nothing that I am aware of, Minister Duguid, Senior Minister, that will affect, involve, alter, stop, do anything to St. Lawrence Church.
Mr. Terrelong voiced his opposition to the seizure of property on behalf of developers.
We seem to have a tendency in Barbados to seize people's property by eminent domain, turn it over to a developer where the value goes up by an order of magnitude. The generations of people that are trying to build generational wealth with that property lose out on that property increase. I don't think the government should seize property on behalf of some developer. Let the developer negotiate their own property deals, and then if there's some overriding community concern, then the government can perhaps get involved and negotiate.
Prime Minister Mottley pointed to the size of Barbados with respect to compulsory acquisition in the interest of national development.
The Judicial Committee of the Privy Council, which was previously our highest court, is still the highest court of the government of Antigua and a lot of the other Eastern Caribbean islands, will tell you, as does the Constitution, as do our laws, that there will be some occasions where property is acquired in the national interest. And regrettably, what is that? That if property is acquired in the national interest, that the compensation shall be fair, but that we recognize that there are some things that we have to do in the national interest. So that's all that it is.
Both Senior Minister in the Prime Minister's office, Dr. William Duguid, and the Minister of Housing, Dwight Sutherland, dismissed rumors of a planned high-rise car park. Minister Sutherland revealed to the forum what was discussed during a recent town hall meeting with Dover residents.
What was mentioned was the acquisition of 25 parcels of land at Dover, Bath Village, St. Lawrence Main Road, and St. Lawrence Gap. And with respect to the car park, what was discussed was the car park at Bath Village. On the northern side, when you leave Brady's Bar, you're descending from Brady's Bar, you make the first left turn, and on your right is Dover Playing Field and Dover Pavilion, and on the left is an open car park. And within there, we have about 5 to 6 parcels of land. Only today, one of the landowners visited the Ministry of Housing, Lands and Maintenance and discussed with us the acquisition process, and she's satisfied. At no time at all did we mention building any high-rise car park there.
Matters, some personal, legal, and others relating to flooding and housing were raised during the forum. The series moves to the parish of St. Michael next month. Kishmar Senjis, CBC News.
And Prime Minister Mia Amor-Mottley is also saying that too many cases are going before the island's law courts that need not be. She says the cases can be solved through mediation. According to her, efforts have been made to get the judicial system to adopt more mediation.
The scale of matters coming before the court has increased exponentially. What you heard me say at the beginning is that is why we're encouraging mediation, conciliation, and arbitration, so that people are not only relying on the formal court system, but people can get justice in other ways too.
Attorney General Dale Marshall addressed concerns relating to delays in the justice system. He says on average, there are close to 2,000 civil cases filed in the civil court in any given year.
If you multiply that by 5, that gives you 10,000 civil cases, all of which have to receive some portion of the court's time. Recognizing that we had, in our view, too small a number of judges, we felt it was important to increase the number of judges so as to be able to put more manpower to address the cases. We've computerized the system of filing. We've done a whole set of initiatives, none of which by themselves will transform the legal landscape, but taken together, we expect that they will help to drive the number of cases through the system quickly.
The Local Broadcast Authority wants the legislation governing it to be updated to handle the myriad issues relating to the digital space. The Barbados Broadcast Authority this morning launched its media campaign, Think Before You Click. Chair Dr. Alison Leacock said the evolving digital environment has to be considered in the context of sovereignty, interdependence, content, cybersecurity, and content regulation. She said the legislation has to be upgraded to meet the future.
It is subject to increasing political pressures. This will have a profound effect in the coming years, and the Barbados Broadcasting Authority has made representation for the Broadcasting Act and regulations as they currently exist to be updated to meet that future. Digital convergence is resulting not only in telecoms companies getting into content, but technology service providers operating at the telecommunications level. This convergence creates complexities in many areas, from DNS protocols and cybercrime to content issues like hate speech and disinformation.
Dr. Leacock said what is also needed is to have better digital literacy, but the campaign will seek to address the present misuse. She believes content regulation is key, but there is always risk in this area.
Because so much content is broadcast in jurisdictions over which a regulator like the BBA may have no control, there is certainly a need for better digital literacy. And so the BBA owns its responsibility, sees this as an important plank of what this campaign is as a first step towards addressing the digital literacy, the DQ of all Barbadians.
Chair of the Public Relations and Public Education Subcommittee, Peter Boyce, said the campaign would help to stop the panic and confusion that fake news creates. Along with a video jingle performed by Ayana John, there will also be poster messages which all have a multi-generational reach.
A growing problem that we have in Barbados right now in terms of misinformation and fake news, which has been permeating and is being widely spread throughout social media, and the purpose of this campaign is to address that matter.
Classes at the St. Michael's School were cut short this morning after low water pressure forced the early closure of the institution. The school has been experiencing low water pressure since the beginning of the day. The Barbados Water Authority has reported it is experiencing challenges with two of its distribution systems that supply water to some of the St. Michael districts, including the Belleville area. CBC News spoke with President of the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union, Marianne Redmond, who acknowledged she was aware of the classes at the school being suspended due to a water issue there. Coming up, 2 murder accused remanded to Dodds. 2 Christchurch murder accused have been remanded to Dodds Prison. This after they appeared in the Oistins Magistrates Court today before Magistrate Deidre McKenna. According to police, 27-year-old Shaniqua Kadisha Cecilia Clark and 32-year-old Jared Kadeem Brathwaite are charged with the murder of Devitus Chase. Both Clark and Brathwaite were remanded to prison until November 24th, when next they are expected back in court. 28-year-old Chase of Caneville New Road, Christchurch, was found dead at Welch's Christchurch on November 21st, with what police said appeared to be chop wounds about the body. A St. Michael man who escaped police custody has been added to the police wanted list. He is Roger Ramel Stephen Seeley, alias Duckfoot. Seeley, whose last known address is Scotts Gap, Britainsill, St. Michael, is wanted for questioning in connection with serious criminal matters. He is approximately 5 feet 11 inches tall, of dark complexion, slim built with brown eyes. Seeley is advised he can present himself to the Central Police Station at Corge Street, St. Michael, accompanied by an attorney at law of his choice. Anyone who may know the whereabouts of Roger Ramel Stephen Seeley is asked to contact police emergency at 211, Crime Stoppers at 1-800-8477, or the nearest police station. The University of the West Indies Dance Ensemble is getting a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity after being selected to participate in this year's installation of the Coco Dance Festival in Trinidad and Tobago. Dance lecturer at the University of the West Indies CAFIL campus, Aisha Komishong, says being chosen for the festival means the world to the group.
The cohort that is going this year basically spent majority of their time at the institution online. So this is basically one of their highlights. They'll be attending an international festival. They will be dancing in front of an international audience. And I couldn't be more delighted to be the facilitator for something as major as this in their young but growing and developing and bright careers, because this is an extremely talented group of dancers who I believe deserve to see the world through their talents.
Ms. Comachong says the preparation process was grueling.
These dancers have been working tirelessly for about 2 months now. We've been rehearsing sometimes up until midnight just to even be selected. So it wasn't just a case of we opted to go, but we actually had to submit, be considered, and then chosen. And what makes this even more special is that we were chosen to close both the first half and the second half of the show, and that's a major privilege. If you're familiar with the dance world, to close a show, that's a big deal. But to close a show in a country that you are not from, and you are attending the festival for the first time, absolutely mind-blowing. It means the world to us.
The UWI lecturer told us the trip would not have been possible without some key people coming on board.
The people who believed in our dream, believed in us in a very short period of time, but believed that we had what it takes. And of course, we have to shout out the National Cultural Foundation. We have to shout out Republic Bank, Signet Globe, Ambassador David Comachong, and of course, a few of the members of Parliament were so gracious to contribute to the dancers who come from their constituency. We have the Honourable Wilfred Abrams, Marsha Cattle, Davison Ishmael, Arthur Holder, and of course the Prime Minister, Mia Amor Motley. We also have the University of the West Indies to thank for contributing to us as well. None of this would be possible without these very gracious donors who believe in young Barbadian talent.
The two-day festival runs from October 29th to 30th. Barbados has a decentralized platform in the metaverse. Word of this came from His Excellency Gabriel Abed during a fireside chat on Day 2 of the Global Business Week 2022 of BIBA, the Association for Global Business, at Hilton, Barbados. Trevor Thorpe reports.
The metaverse is the future, and Barbados has complete control over its virtual real estate. Sharing a fireside chat with Dr. Annalie Babb, founder and chief executive officer of Intersections, the ambassador said the preliminary work at the Metaverse Embassy is at an advanced stage.
Therefore, we chose to go for a decentralized environment where you're looking at the Somnium spaces and the Decentraland. Both of these are virtual reality environments, but they're completely decentralized, meaning that when the government of Barbados owns virtual land and builds a virtual embassy and allows the world to come visit that virtual embassy, the government can dictate who has access. It can dictate who can pull data on the land. It can dictate what information and what buildings go on that property. We have absolute control from any government or any corporation or any person being able to dictate what happens on that virtual piece of property.
Dr. Babb cautioned that Barbados' culture needs to change, but lauded the progress of the virtual embassy.
We need to get more comfortable with experimentation, with risk, with the sense of not knowing how things are going to turn out, but being confident enough in our skill sets as people, in our critical thinking abilities, and so to just play, if you want to call it, in a sandbox, but create new things and see where they go.
But Ambassador Abed said the Metaverse Embassy is getting Barbados ready for the next generation of input and output systems.
We need to develop for where the future is going. Now, is the Metaverse Embassy something that is going to be a rock star solution and save the world? No, but it's our start to delivering a futuristic product and signaling to the world that Barbados isn't sitting back in the past. It's about getting Barbadians ready for the next generation of input-output systems, and it's about getting our population to say the word metaverse.
The ambassador told the breakfast chat the Barbados Metaverse Embassy has a timeline for opening of July 2023. The Global Business Week 2022 continues at Hilton, Barbados tomorrow. Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
Thanks, Trevor. As agriculturalists prepare for their annual general meeting this weekend, officials are reporting bright sparks in the sector over the past year. Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Agricultural Society, James Paul, told the Business Report fruit and vegetable had shown some improvement. He gave some insight on what's on the agenda for farmers when they meet at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Centre on Saturday.
This annual General Assembly, where we report to our members in terms of what we did and what the focus will be as we move forward, is one in which we are hoping to galvanize our local agricultural community in order to see how we can increase agricultural output. Our dairy sector is one, of course, too, that's also facing huge challenges.
CBC Sports Night is brought to you by MCTV for all your Premier League, UEFA, and NFL action. To upgrade or install, call MCTV at 228-6288 and get back in the game with MCTV.
Time for the second half in sports. Now we head back on over to the sports studio with Damien Best.
Thanks so much, Shane. Well, Deacons Volleyball Club are the queens and kings of the Goddard Enterprises Limited Knockout Volleyball Competition. They secured both the women's and men's titles in contrasting fashion by defeating Burger King Clapham Toners and Cormier, respectively. Knockout volleyball final, League Queens Clapham Toners up against Deacons closest to the screen. This matchup had all the ingredients of a tight contest. Too close to the net, Ashley Jordan taking advantage. The other Ashley was also active. That's Ashley Marshall operating from the backcourt and somehow finds a soft spot in Deacons' defense. We'll take that any day. Deacons exploring all the avenues to slow Toners' progression. Carrington from the left of screen, angle to acute, that's a kill. Then another lefty, Serena Edwards got a lovely high ball and threw the hammer down, too hot to handle. But Toners weathered the storm, triple block established. Julia Lewis attempted to be cheeky, rejected. Toners eventually prevailing in two tight first sets, 26-24, 25-22. But the real drama happened in the third, with Toners in the ascendancy up 8-6. A moment no sports person wants to see. Outside hitter Marshall grabbing her ankle in pain. She would have to leave the game and would not return. A massive blow to Toners. How would they fill that void? Lewis with the special delivery. Deacon said if it worked once, why not try again? Access denied this time. Point to Toners. The supporters loving the fight. Edge of your seat stuff. The score is locked all the way from 16-24. Lewis comes up big in crunch time, off the block and in. Then some fundamental mistakes at the wrong time. Deacons lapping up these opportunities. Set point now served from Deacons. Toners handle it, but Jordan could not keep it in. Deacons staying alive, 26-24, a fourth set required. Indeed, the ladies from Deacons really felt energized, taking that fourth set, 25-20. Now in the all-important fifth, Jordan with a lot on her shoulders. A tough axe down the line for the kill though. Celebrations muted. Jordan now with an ankle issue. She tried to soldier on, but Dowell and Edwards put Deacons on the brink in this race to 15. Edwards in particular rocked the Wildy Gym with a thunderbolt, and Deacons with one hand on the trophy. Set and match point. Three Toners players collide. Point awarded to Deacons. What a comeback to snatch the knockout crown. 15-12 in the fifth. Congratulations. The men's showdown between Deacons and Cormier was a blur, with both teams trading iconic moments. Mark Lewis deadly from the short set. Two can play that game. Deacons lethal, peels off a few body parts, good enough for the point. Not everything required power. Placement was exquisite. Case in point. Deacons securing the first two sets at 25-18, 29-27. Oxley the point man. The third has similar fireworks. Robert Andrews, stunning accuracy. But this was a one-way street. Deacons doing it in three straight over Cormier to take the title. 25-22 in the third. Congratulations to Deacons once again.
That's our news. Good night and be good. Thanks for visiting us. To get more stories like this one, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.